Good afternoon, Fabio. Thank you for joining us today for this a new series of mini talks for our March Challenge participants. So, Fabio, would you like to introduce yourself? So, you are a dear serial entrepreneur. So, what have you done up
Absolutely.
until now?
Thank you, first of all, Annalisa, for inviting me, for having me today. It's a pleasure for me to take part to your March Challenge interviews. Yes, I'm a serial entrepreneur, as you said. I'm a lover of craftsmanship and digital. And 10 years ago, I decided to launch my first company. It's an eyewear company, and we make Italian-made sustainable sunglasses and eyewear. And then from that experience, I launched another company in the knitwear industry. And then I have shares in many companies where I'm like an advisor, always in the fashion industry. So keeping a clear focus on digital and craftsmanship. So there is always a trade union between all the companies where I work. So yes, pleasure to be here today.
Thank you. Actually, the idea is to talk to you today is because I would like to share with our participants some do's and don'ts, actually, because I think it's very important. Sometimes we would like to be guided, we would like to know what we have to do, and so getting suggestions and then tips from people like you who faced already these phases would be very, very beneficial. So when we were discussing, you mentioned that there is a topic, something that you would have loved to listen when you were moving the first steps in the
Yes.
entrepreneurial venture. So,
Yes, yes, it is. There is actually one thing that I would have loved to listen when I first started my company, TBD Eyewear, my eyewear company, and basically it's very simple piece of advice. Avoid as long as possible companies where the two business partners are 50-50. So, in my opinion, companies are like boats. So on a boat, the captain must be only one, and the same goes for companies. It's very rare that two business partners are always aligned on everything, and companies where both partners have 50 and 50% of the capital are destined to be hard to manage when there is not enough, alignment between the partners. So as long as you can find, I'm not saying that you need to do a company on your own, but find partners that have complementary skills compared to yours, and avoid 50-50 just for the reasons that I've just said. So that's my piece of advice, because of course 10 years ago it was my first company. I didn't know that, and now I wish I had that tip back then.
so you are suggesting to have a 51-49 or a
Yes,
different share.
yes. As long as one business partner has the majority of the share capital, it's always the best thing. 51-49 or whatever in that range, where just one has the majority of the share capital and the other the minority.
So there is only one who has to take decisions, strategic
Yes,
decisions.
exactly. Just like boats. There must be one captain that says that we need to go south or west or whatever, not two. And if one captain says to go south and one to go north, the boat doesn't move. So
Yeah,
that's a problem.
that's the problem, clearly. So this is one of the challenges you faced during your first phases of your entrepreneurial life. Did you face any other important challenges that it is important, so you would like to share with our participants?
Absolutely. Well, many challenges. One of them, for sure, is the triangle, something that I call the triangle of time, skills, and money.
Hmm.
It is very important for me to, as an entrepreneur, first of all, to acquire the skills, and to be able to know what I'm talking about. Whenever I rely on an advisor, an external advisor, I always like to know what he is talking about. Of course, without probably the same depth of knowledge that he has, but I need to have a broad, experience at least, or a vague idea of what he's talking about. So skill sets are very important for me. I've always tried to do everything since the beginning, from invoices to also all the routinary jobs with less added value, you know. But it is important, in my opinion, so that later you can delegate. And delegating is such an abused word. You know, everyone says you need to delegate, but whenever they tell you that you need to delegate, it's right, but it's not completely true. You need to delegate, first of all, knowing what you're what is the task that you're delegating. So you need to be able to understand the task. Why is that? Because after that, you need to be able to evaluate the task of the person you have delegated. Otherwise, if you don't know what he did, and you don't know the KPIs to evaluate that task, it's impossible for you to run a business.
Mhm.
So skill sets are very important. So and also for the importance of delegating the tasks, and then time, of course. Whenever I see a lot of people, you know, they launch a startup every day or every month, and at the end of the day, they overcommit. And this is something very unpleasant for an entrepreneur. I guess an important aspect of our life is the reliability. If I tell you that I will be there on that day and I will give you that document on that day, it's important for me to follow my word, to you know, to deliver what I said. And many people underestimate the amount of time that it's needed whenever we launch a new company, especially probably at the beginning, everyone understands it, but then especially in the long run. To get the ball rolling, you just don't need the first months. You need consistency. So time is very important. You need to understand before launching a new company how much time you will be able to dedicate to that project. Otherwise, it just will not take off. It's very difficult for it to take off. And then, of course, money. It's it's an important issue, but it's not as important as many people think. I mean, I launched some companies. Oh, actually, two companies with basically no investment or a very little amount of money. And then thanks to, you know, to the margins coming from the sales, and it's been all self-financed. Basically, we financed the growth thanks to the sales. So of course, after a while, you need it's important to have someone to help you boost the growth. But many people say, okay, I don't find an investment, I don't find someone, so I will never start my idea. Get the ball rolling, start, roll up your sleeves, take on some skills that are important for you to understand the business, your business 360 degrees, and then all the things will come. Of course, it depends on the industry, of course, it depends on the margins and on many things, but my key point is the first investment is not as important as many people might think. So that's my piece of advice.
There is something that you make me think of is the importance of networking. I think that every entrepreneur should have a good network, and then they can be the major results of maybe additional complementary skills or money if needed. Correct?
Totally agree. Americans say, I guess, that your network is your net worth, and I'm totally fine. I mean, I totally agree with that line. Without the people I've met, without the people that trusted my judgment, probably I wouldn't be here today. I mean, or my companies would not be here for sure today. I remember the very first orders for TBDI were placed by important buyers from menswear stores from all over the world, and with whom I had established a long-term relationship and a trust. Okay, and the very first orders, they placed these orders without even seeing the product. Almost, you know,
Ah,
they trusted me, so they were like, okay, you tell me. And then I got some of them who are still buying today from us, of course, with the best conditions ever, because the first customers are also the one who always have the best conditions. But it's nice because they give you a consistency all over the years, and it's a lovely thing to do. So network is super important, and it
okay.
comes back to what we're saying today, that we were saying before, reliability, trust. If you're not reliable, people after a while in the industry, also because the industry is not that big as we think, people talk, and you will be burned after a while.
Mm. Actually, you have anticipated the other question because actually we're talking about, yes, a trust reliability, but I'm wondering if um, in the luxury industry, so if people are willing to set a luxury venture, they need to have a specific set of skills, or it is the same in any other industry. What do you think?
Well, that's a that's a good question. For sure, I guess you need to be able to understand, as always, what is the that you're selling very well. You can never, in my opinion, launch a luxury hotel, a five-star luxury hotel, without ever having been into a luxury hotel, without having tried yourself, experienced yourself how a customer of a luxury hotel is treated. So the same goes with a luxury product and with everything that is aspirational today. You need to be a customer yourself first, and you have to have that taste that either you have it or you don't buy it somewhere else. That's something not like skills. Either you're born with it or it's very hard. That basically allows you to intercept, the need of certain customers and understand what they actually want, how they want to be treated, what kind of product they want, what kind of customer service they want. Even if we are going into the automation, everything automated, and artificial intelligence and stuff. We proud ourselves of offering a human to human relationship through our live chat on the website. Whenever you visit our website during the office hours from Monday to Friday, there is someone else who is a human and she's been trained to give you all the possible information about the glasses that we're selling, from the materials, from of course, say, return policies and exchange policies, etc., etc. So you're not talking to a robot, you're talking to a human. And that's luxury today, because it's easier for us, of course, to put a chatbot that has a set of questions and always reply in the same way with an automatic set of replies, to the customer. But that can be frustrating. So in my opinion, luxury is also the way you treat the customer. It's not only, it's of course it's an experience. So it's not only the product, it's the entire way you feel treated, from when you step into the website or the brick and mortar store until you have made your purchase and went home and open your product. So it's and also after that, in the after sale, whenever you have a question or you have a problem with your product, you need to reach out to a person, and that must be helpful and friendly and everything. So that's very important for us.
Thank you so much. I'm taking lots of notes. So thank you so much, because actually I think it's is already enough, because I think you have shared with us a good recipe of success for young entrepreneurs. I don't know if there is anything else as a last note that you want to add before closing.
Well, of course, there is not. I wish there was only one recipe. One thing that I can say that probably I wish I knew many years ago. Uh, Believe in, trust the timing, and believe in a positive. Think positive. Because if you think positive things will happen. It's a magic circle that. If you really want something, after a while you don't feel the burden from the workload. I was the one. I feel very lucky because I turned my passion into my work, okay, into
Hmm.
my job. And really, at the beginning, people used to tell me, you're obsessed with this, you're obsessed with that. Of course, you don't with I don't I don't encourage people to be obsessed, but whenever you have a deep passion for something, I just want to say that you don't feel the struggle. That's it. So, and
Yeah.
I encourage people to find their passion. Sometimes I meet people in their 50s or 60s. They don't have a passion, and don't have a light. Whenever you find a passion, it's really so important, because you can tell a person has a passion for something by the light they put forward, they put outside.
Yeah. Find your passion. This is, I
Yeah.
think, the best final message we can share with our dear participants. Thank you, Fabio. I think it was thank you for this great talk. And then
Thank you.
we will share with everybody else. And we look forward to meeting you soon. Grazie.
Thank you for the opportunity, and congratulations on the Mark Challenge. I really appreciate you having me here today. Hopefully,
Grazie.
we meet
Ciao.
soon. Bye bye.
Bye.